Okay, so thank you very much for tuning in again to watch this masterclass. These are the final sections in this entire series of tutorials. So, you know, you're in the home stretch, as they say. We are going to be breaking down this final look, and in each section we're going to work on a different aspect of what was done to achieve this. So things like the glowing effects around the edge, we're going to enhance these using the assets we import from Cinema 4D. Things like the depth of field, the clouds background, the lightning effect, the lens dirt texture, and at the very end the color correction. So basically everything you can see here. I'm gonna keep this open just for reference, but I have another folder at the top here called masterclass. This is what I'm gonna use now as we're starting from scratch. And the first step is to import all the required footage, starting with the render itself. So I'm going to go to File and Import. Let's go to Multiple Files. And this right here is the original render sequence. If you remember, we outputted this as that RPF file format. So let me click on the first image, and I need to make sure this is going to come in as a sequence. So make sure this is ticked down here and click Open. It's going to go into the project, and this dialog box will automatically reopen so we can import something else. So let's go to the multipass, and this was the luminance channel that we separated from the render. So first frame, make sure the sequence is selected and click Open. I'm going to go back up one level or a couple of levels. There's a video of dark clouds, so I'm gonna grab this, and then down here there's this image which is just a lens dirt texture. We're gonna bring this to, and this dialog box is gonna keep reopening until you have everything you need. Just click Done, and now we can move on. My footage came in at 30 FPS. And that's wrong, so I want to right click this, go to Interpret Footage, under Main, let's set this to 24 and click OK. We can then just right click this, go to Interpret Footage, remember interpolation, go to the luminance sequence, and we're going to Interpret Footage and apply interpolation. So both of these now are at 24 FPS. Let's rename this to something which is easier to understand. So this is the main render, and this is our luminance channel or fire effect on the edges. And this image is the lens dirt texture. And then of course we have the clouds down here too. Okay, I'm gonna take the main render and let me quickly just drop this into a new comp. And this is it right here. We can just quickly scrub through this to make sure that everything is working. And it seems there are no problems. The only difference between this and what you should have outputted from Cinema 4D is that my original render, which is what we're looking at right now, I didn't use the alpha switch to get the transparency in the black areas. Instead, what I did was I outputted two alpha layers, one for the text, just at the end here, and another for the logo itself. Then I basically took these, so if I start with the logo, let's put this into a comp by itself, and I'm gonna rename this to alpha. Click OK. I can bring the other file in here too, and this is going to overlay on top of the logo one, as you can see. But I can add these two together. Then in the main render comp, I can bring in this alpha comp, and with the main render underneath it, go to the track matte menu and set this to LumaMatte Alpha. And now I have my transparency. So it's a little bit of a moot point if you had already exported your render as an alpha, but I just thought I'd mention it here too so that nobody gets confused why I have all these layers making up the single render comp. Anyway, I can take both of these, right click and go to Pre-Compose, and this is going to be our logo and text comp. and click OK. In your own project, if you rendered your sequence already with an alpha, then this is just going to be a standard layer, not a pre-comp trying to get everything to look right. In your own project, if you rendered this with an alpha to begin with, then this is just going to be a normal layer instead of a comp. But again, it's a bit of a moot point. Whilst we're just preparing all of our layers, I'm going to take the fire effect, and this is going to be in its own composition. And let's give this the right name. So luminance pre for pre-compose. And this up here is our main comp. I'm going to go back to the main folder and create another subfolder called compositions. And inside of this, another folder called pre. And this is going to be way down here. So let me just arrange by name so it goes to the top. And I want to drag my main comp into the comp folder. And everything else is going to go into the pre-composed folder. And this is something which I do with every project, just to keep everything nice and organized. Okay, and that's it for this lesson. Once everything is set up and everything's in the right place, we have all the footage we need. This is now our starting point for the rest of this project. And in the next lesson, we're going to be looking at the clouds background layer.